What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MANIACITV, man. Today, we got 1090 Jake, NBA Youngboy, facing 250 years after impersonating elderly woman to get lean. Now, when I saw this title, I had to take a second look because I'm like, 250? 250 years is crazy. Now, I haven't really been following the latest developments in this whole situation with YB, but I know Jake has, so this is why we're gonna check this out. And I already spoke my piece on it. I think he really needs help. You know, I know y'all gonna say, oh, the music, bro. I don't care about none of that, man. Get this man some help, for real, man. So we're gonna check this out, though, man. Let's get it.
Rapper is facing over 60 charges after he was arrested in Cache County.
NBA Youngboy was arrested this week at his Mill Creek home in what the Cache County Sheriff's Office is calling an ongoing investigation into criminal conduct.
We are learning new details about why young rapper NBA Youngboy was arrested in Utah yesterday.
The rapper, whose real name is Kentrell Deshaun Galden, was under house arrest as he awaited trial on federal gun charges. Several agencies, including the FBI and Secret Service, executed a search warrant yesterday morning.
September 19th, 2023. Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram, Utah, received a prescription called in for a 74-year-old woman named Bethel White. The physician who called provided the proper identification, but the number he called from wasn't from his pharmacy. A phone call to the suspected pharmacy would confirm suspicions. The pharmacist didn't have a patient named Bethel White, he never called in a prescription, and apparently someone's made several orders using his name that day. The prescription was for an antibiotic, as well as promethazine with codeine, a Schedule 5 controlled substance, and one of the most abused and sought after drugs in hip-hop.
Nah, look at some of these niggas though, man.
And
More so famous Dex. Man, what the fuck? Bro, like, this is crazy. Like, this generation is crazy, but what I was gonna say though, man, you got, as NBA Young, I'm not saying that is right, but nigga, you got how many niggas in your house and around you? Why couldn't one of them do it? Why couldn't you get the nigga that say ask instead of ax? All them dudes and you doing it? I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't condone doing it at all, because, bro, like, that's a serious charge, man.
As well as promethazine with codeine, a Schedule 5 controlled substance, and one of the most abused and sought after drugs in hip-hop.
Crazy.
The antibiotic was most likely just to make the prescription less of a red flag. Law enforcement would wait in the parking lot of Reed's Pharmacy waiting for someone to pick up the order, but nobody came. That same day, Spence's Pharmacy in Logan, Utah received a call from the same suspect using the same physician's information. This time, 71-year-old Gwendolyn Cox needed promethazine with codeine. 2 weeks after the prescription was called in, a female came and picked it up, stating Gwendolyn was her grandmother. The following month, Spence's Pharmacy received a second call requesting more lean for grandma. Spence's obviously realized the 71-year-old didn't just drink a whole bottle of syrup in less than 3 weeks, so this time they requested a hard copy of the prescription with the patient. So the suspect on the phone hung up the call. Spence's Pharmacy attempted.
Wait, so these were real people that they were allegedly impersonating. How are they getting these people's information? Are these people that's in close, proximity? Do they know? I don't like, how do you, like, you know how smart you gotta be to do this?
Attempted to call the number back after looking up the physician's name, only to make contact with the real physician, finding out someone's been fraudulently using his credentials. On January 17th, 2024, a fraudulent prescription was called into Larry's Pharmacy in Smithfield, Utah. It was the same deal. Another elderly woman wanted lean, and when things looked suspicious, the pharmacy called the police. An agent assigned to the cash-rich drug task force would conduct the initial investigation.
Task force?
Obvious similarities between the reports from the different pharmacies would lead officers to devise a plan. Contact would be made and 2 females would arrive at Larry's pharmacy to pick up the prescription. They'd be detained and officers would smell a strong odor of marijuana coming from the Chevy Tahoe they drove in. With the females consenting to a search, marijuana flakes would be found around the interior, along with an empty handgun case for a .45 caliber 1911.
Damn.
They'd claim the marijuana wasn't theirs, and they were picking up a prescription for a friend that they refused to name. The 2 women would later be arrested for their role in the prescription fraud ring, and officers would discover the Chevy Tahoe they were riding in was registered out of Texas under a 24-year-old man named Kentrell Golden. Kentrell would be more commonly known as rap superstar NBA Youngboy.
He couldn't even have put it in Montana name, 03 name, something like, you know, and before we get further into it, I know people gonna be like, well, he could have just bought it, like, man, like, he could have bought it from somebody on the street. He ain't had to go the pharmacy route, allegedly. But, man, if I'm up, I ain't gonna lie. If I'm an addict, and I know y'all gonna feel some type of way about me calling YB an addict, bro, but that's addict behavior, man. I'm sorry. But if I'm an addict, and I'm up 100 mil, am I gonna buy some shit from the street? From Joe Schmo on the street? That he could possibly laced in, pissed in, nutsack all in my shit? No Diddy? You think I'm gonna take that and crash out, go out like that? No. I'm gonna get it from the pharmacy directly from the source. Like I said, it's not right. It's not right. I wouldn't do it, but...
One of the task force agents would be contacted by dispatch and informed that none other than Gwendolyn Cox needed to speak with him. During the conversation, she'd state her last name was White instead of Cox, and she'd give her birth month and date, but couldn't provide the age and wouldn't provide her address.
Damn.
It was very clear to the agent that Gwendolyn was using a fake voice, as this old woman sounded like a much younger male from the South. She, or he, made a statement saying, well, I asked her to, and she said that she'll have you call me. The terminology ax instead of ask was a dead giveaway and consistent with a southern dialect from states like Texas, Georgia, and Louisiana.
Man, niggas all over the world was saying axe at one point. You know, and this is why they say you gotta have proper speech etiquette in certain situations. I can adapt in certain situations depending on who I'm talking to. I wouldn't talk like I talk on YouTube if I'm in a business meeting or if I'm talking to a supervisor or whatever. But come on, man. Axe!
The following day, a person who self-identified as NBA Youngboy's business manager attempted to contact the drug task force in an effort to get the Chevy Tahoe out of the impound. During this time, the impound company suspected the vehicle may be stolen after speaking with the so-called manager, so the task force officer requested to speak directly with Youngboy. On a conference call being recorded by dispatch, Youngboy told the task force agent the females arrested at the pharmacy were family. The agent would ask about his relations to the female and if they had his permission to drive his vehicle, to which Youngboy said they did have his permission and he asked for his vehicle back. The agent would tell Youngboy how to get his vehicle back, and the conversation would continue when Youngboy said, ask him about the prescription that they picked up. He paused for a few seconds before saying, she on the fucking hospital bed. She on the hospital bed. The agent was aware Youngboy was speaking to someone else who claimed to be Youngboy's brother. The call would break up and go silent for durations of time, leading the agent to believe they were muting the call. Because Youngboy was speaking about prescriptions without being asked, showed he had knowledge of the fraudulent prescription the females attempted to pick up. It would also prove intent, as Youngboy attempted to further the prescription fraud by stating, she's on a hospital bed, referring to the fake patient. Youngboy would also slip up using the word ax instead of ask.
Yeah.
The same way the fake patient Gwendolyn did on the phone.
Pharmacist,
and at
yeah.
this point, it would appear obvious NBA Youngboy was pretending to be a 71-year-old woman in an attempt to get lean.
That just sounds insane. Bro, that just sounds crazy. NBA, like, you know, when this year started, I never thought that would be one of the headlines. NBA Youngboy impersonated a 71-year-old woman to get lean. That's just crazy. That's beyond crazy to me. You know, it's no secret. We know YB has his demons that he's currently fighting. He's been fighting. Been on house arrest 3 years. This ain't nothing new. We've seen YB in bad condition in his music videos and interviews. It's nothing new, not surprising, but it's kind of like when you know the specifics behind some of this, it's kind of like, it's kind of crazy. Not even kind of crazy. It's really crazy.
The drug task force would speak with the physician whose name was being fraudulently used, and a report for how many prescriptions were successfully picked up would be made. Ann White, Beatrice White, Caroline White, Gwendolyn White, Alice White, Francine White, Francine Taylor, and Gwendolyn Cox were all fake elderly women whose names were used to pick up different amounts of codeine, sometimes repeatedly.
So this nigga made a whole family tree of whites? That's crazy.
Surprisingly, NBA Youngboy's own name, Cantrell Galden, will be used with a birth year of 1953 to pick up a 7-day supply of codeine.
What?
A juvenile would be apprehended at the pharmacy after attempting to pick it up. Additional calls were made using Youngboy's real name and real birth date by someone in Houston, Texas. It was discovered the same white Tahoe registered in Texas that the females were arrested in could be seen in one of Youngboy's music videos.
That one.
Further investigation into Youngboy was conducted after he was identified as the primary suspect. Rising from the trenches of Baton Rouge, Youngboy is documented to have lived in Louisiana, Texas, Georgia, California, and Utah. He's also currently on federal pretrial probation as he awaits trial for a federal gun charge for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The rap
and you know what's, I want to say this real quick, man. You know what's so crazy? Everything that Youngboy is facing right now, all the charges that he's been on house arrest for and that he's dodged prison time for, this be the thing that takes him out, possibly? If he's found guilty in this whole situation, I don't think they're giving him 250 years. That's just crazy. But he is a habitual offender, you know, on various other crimes. You know, they found him guilty and he's you know, it's consequences that come with this, man. And it's crazy because out of all this stuff that we hear about Youngboy, out of all these sentences that YB has been able to, you know, find a loophole out of, this be the one that could probably take him out. And I told y'all, man, I feel like he's got to sit down for some time. He's not going to get out of this. I don't think he's going to get out of this as easy as some people might think. I don't think if anybody think that it's going to be that easy, but he's got to sit down. And, you know, I'm the type of person, I look at the silver lining of things, and I feel like this happened for a reason. I'm a strong believer that things happen in life for a reason. And I feel like, yeah, as bad of a situation that this is, you know, you getting charged with fraud and you have weapons and you already on a pending case as it is. Yes, this looks bad, but you still have your life. And I feel like that could have been a reason why all this came to light the way it did, because had it not, we could have, you know, got on Instagram one morning and woke up to an academics or a say cheese or a no jumper post saying that YB passed away. We could have, honestly, it could have been much worse. And that's what I want a lot of his fans to realize. Man, I seen videos of y'all. Some of y'all was crying. Grown men and women crying, which is insane. But I want y'all to realize, man, like, yeah, he's locked up. Yes, he might have to sit down for a little bit. Yes, this is probably worst case scenario for him, but he still has his life. He still has his life. He's still here. we'll see him again at some point one day. You know, you got to look at the silver lining of some things, man. And I feel like, you know, it coming out this way is, you know, it was a reason why it had to happen this way, man. But this is crazy. It's crazy.
Rapstar's criminal history is not only extensive, but violent. Back in 2016, Youngboy was arrested on 2 charges of murder in Louisiana as a juvenile. The charges were eventually reduced, and Youngboy would be convicted of aggravated assault with a firearm, while his second charge of attempted murder was dropped entirely.
See, he finds the loophole, and it's like you get chance after chance after chance. Like, how do you keep fucking up, man? Like, it's crazy.
Conviction alone would make him a convicted felon. In 2018, he'd be arrested for aggravated assault and kidnapping, with the kidnapping later being dismissed. Youngboy would plead
guilty. Had a kidnapping charge dismissed. Attempted murder dismissed.
To a lesser charge of simple battery, resulting in a misdemeanor conviction and 12 months of probation. In 2019, Youngboy would be arrested for marijuana in Georgia, and in 2020, he'd be arrested in Louisiana for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, distribution of marijuana, possession of a controlled substance, illegally carrying a weapon, illegal possession of a stolen firearm, and possession of a controlled substance.
That's at least 10 to 15 years alone for everything he just listed from his 2020 arrest. And he still was placed on house arrest for that. Like, man, we can't make excuses for this, man. I'm sorry. But we can't make excuses for this, man. Is it that hard? I understand, bro. 3 years locked inside, I would probably go crazy too. Actually, probably not. Because I just don't like people, so I don't go anywhere. But come on, man. You can't just chill in the crib, order some stuff off Amazon, watch a good series, some movies, make some music, play the game. You know, it's crazy to me, man. Like, you got incredible amount of blessings in your life. Niggas would kill to live like this nigga. Granted, yeah, the circumstances suck. You on house arrest. But it's like, man, it's niggas locked up, ain't never getting out. They gonna be using their right hand in a bottle of Jergens the rest of their life. Man, they could have wished they could have been outside in a mansion, hundreds of millions of dollars in the account with your wife in the crib, your kids. Man, them niggas would love that shit. And you mean, like, come on, man. I'm sorry, bro. Like, I rock with YB in the music sense, man, but I don't get it. I don't understand, bro, mine. I really don't, man. I'm sorry. Y'all say what you want, bro. I don't get it. I don't.
In 2021, the feds would indict Youngboy for his Louisiana gun charge, and 3 years later, he'd still be on pretrial release. Youngboy has been identified by the FBI as the leader of the NBA street gang. The gang itself is a group of Youngboy's associates that have been classified as a gang because of their structure, affiliation, and violent behavior. Youngboy's music is heavily influenced by that behavior, as he is consistently rapping about shooting and killing people, using drugs, and having a strong dislike for law enforcement.
That's damn near every rapper, bro.
The rap star currently resides in Huntsville, Utah, within a multi-million-dollar mansion he's named Gravedigger Mountain. With an ankle monitor, Youngboy needs approval to leave his home for any reason, to the point that it doesn't even matter if it's a doctor's appointment. All guests that enter Gravedigger Mountain also have to be approved by his federal probation before entering the property. The same suspects that would be caught up attempting to pick up fraudulent prescriptions were all on Youngboy's visiting list. On April 16, 2024, a search warrant was executed on Gravedigger Mountain. Everyone within the mansion was detained, including Youngboy, and after being read his rights, he agreed to an interview. Youngboy was asked about the presence of firearms inside of the home. He said a gun belonging to his wife was inside, and Youngboy was asked if he ever handled the gun or if his DNA would be found on the gun. He denied that his DNA would be found, but stated 2 days earlier he had picked the gun up and moved it from an open area, placing it inside of a drawer. He'd claimed that was the only time he touched the gun, further stating his wife always has the gun within reach throughout the house. Youngboy was asked about prescription drugs in his house, and he'd state he has a prescription for promethazine. He provided the doctor's name who prescribed it and said he was local. When asked if he had any doctors in Texas, he'd say no, and continued to deny having been prescribed drugs from any other doctor. When asked about his associates picking up fraudulent prescriptions, he claimed to have no knowledge of their activities. He confirmed his association with 3 of them, and when confronted about the call with the agent, he stated he didn't remember, making suggestions the agent likely spoke with his dad. But the agent would note Youngboy has a very distinct voice and that it was in fact him on the call, as the agent later spoke with Youngboy's dad.
And you got to look at the region too, bro. You in Utah with a southern accent. You can't tell me there's probably not even more than 5 motherfuckers in Utah that have a southern accent. Come on, man.
I could tell it wasn't him.
Come on.
Youngboy was interviewed further, but continued to be deceptive and deny knowledge of anything illegal. During the search, law enforcement found a prescription bottle inside Youngboy's bathroom within the master bedroom. The bottle was prescribed to Caroline White, one of the fraudulent names. An antibiotic would be found within Youngboy's name, but with the birth date from 1955, and another bottle of promethazine would be found without a label. The handgun Youngboy admitted to possessing would be found within the master bedroom closet, with an empty magazine and 1 round loaded in the chamber. 3 more bottles of promethazine would be found inside of the home, and all electronics was seized. NBA Youngboy would be placed under arrest and charged with possession of a weapon by a restricted person, pattern of unlawful activity, 20 counts of identity fraud, 20 counts of procuring or attempting to procure a drug prescription, 20 counts of forgery, and possession of a controlled substance being marijuana or spice. Now, while it sounds
he need Kodak lawyer, man.
like Youngboy clearly has a drug problem and was using his team to obtain them, how serious are his actual charges? For possessing the weapon and the pattern of unlawful activity, he faces up to 15 years, carry up to 5 years in prison, while trying to get a prescription carries up to a year. Because he faces 62 charges, NBA Youngboy is facing, at maximum, a total of 250 years. But it's highly...
Nigga, I can't even do 2 hours and 50 minutes. Not even 2 minutes and 50 seconds in there. Bro, ain't no way.
Highly unlikely he received that sentence, as that's the max punishment on every count.
I mean, if the judge really hate niggas for real, then maybe... Especially, I mean, you can't hate niggas that. I mean, yeah, they.
What is likely to happen is the feds will indict Youngboy again for being a felon in possession of a firearm, the same way they did after his arrest in Louisiana. If this happens, we can expect his pretrial release to be gone and Youngboy to be kept in a federal facility until both federal cases come to an end. The fact that he admitted he moved the gun is an admission of guilt, which his lawyer will have to fight to get that statement thrown out. On top of that, the gun was found loaded in his bedroom closet, meaning while he may not have physically possessed it, even though he said he did, he could still be charged with constructive possession for the simple fact that he had access to it. Obviously, being placed on house arrest for years is damaging to one's mental health, and a drug addiction can blur one's mind. But we'll just have to wait and see if Youngboy's legal team is able to find sympathy while prosecutors seek punishment and a judge weighs out justice.
It's hard, man. It's really hard because his history with the law is not good, man. If this was like his first offense, probation. But because he has he was literally on house arrest for a case that's still pending, and this happened. So, you know, I feel like I heard that he has, I don't know if it's a bail hearing or it's some type of court date. I think it's May 9th. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know exactly what's going down that day, what could happen. But damn it, man. Like, I feel like this It's real serious, man. This is really serious. He hasn't had bond right now, and it's been a couple weeks, so I don't know, man. I feel like this might just be that. This might be that one, man. This really might be that one, and I hate that this had to happen. You know, and I know I say, you know, look at the silver lining of things, man, but it's a fucked up situation because bro is so young. What, 24, 25 years old, so young, man, and you're faced with such a I don't even know, man, such a heavy possibility of a sentence and a possibility you might not ever get out in your lifetime, which is crazy. But yeah, if he has a good legal team on his side, if they can somehow convince the judge, like, listen, this has been 3 years. Like, if they can convince the judge that his mentality, his brain, like, he's just not, you know, like, it can get to you. If he can convince the judge that, then maybe they could do something for him, man. But I don't know, man. I really don't know. But as of right now, it's not looking good at all. You know, y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. Link down below in the description leads y'all right to this video for y'all to check it out in its entirety with no interruptions. Y'all new to the channel, y'all rock with me. Hit that subscribe button for me, and until the next video, I'll see y'all then. Thank you for watching MANIACITV. I'm out.